Hey, so this video is about shadow work, what it is and why it may not be working for you. The great work, as termed in Hermeticism, the occult, as symbolized by the Philosopher's Stone. This is all synonymous with shadow work. It is bringing the unconscious complexes of our own to light, to be integrated for self-transcendence. It is the ultimate work. Oh, all hail Queen Valkyrie. I am her servant for the week. Say hi. Hey. She's amazing. So, yes, shadow work. I told a friend I was doing shadow work, and the shadow was like almost overtaking me when I called him. It's like, what is that? And I told him, I'm seeing all this stuff about myself. I'm bringing it to light to integrate. And he's like, why would anybody want to do that? I was like, you don't want to do that? He's like, no, never. So, it's not for everyone. You have to have the will, first of all. Never do shadow work unless you are willing to do it with a very strong will. You have to want to do it, and you have to be very strong in your own light. You have to have a strong sense of self. Because when you are bringing your unconscious complexes up to light, these are the tortured versions of yourself that you would rather not look at. These are all your faults, and examining why. So it's not just bringing the faults up, but like as that happens, and you really see it for what it is, it's a battle between light and dark. So you have to take your time with it. You have to do it at the right time, which is difficult because we need to do shadow work when we're not feeling well. That's the point of shadow work. But you also have to be strong when you're doing shadow work. So if you're really, really super beaten down, it might not be the right time for shadow work. You might want to, strengthen yourself a bit more, strengthen your self-esteem, get solid in your own light before you attempt shadow work. Be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself, and ask why for everything. Why this, why that? And not like a kid that just asks why for everything. Why is the sky blue? Why? Really figure out, why do I go to this addiction, have this obsession, have this controllingness, whatever it is that you do not like about yourself or other people don't like about you, and you don't like why you keep doing it. Ask yourself why. And it is hard. It's really hard. It's harder, I think, for women than for men, because men have the luxury to compartmentalize, and women's minds are wired differently. They're just like a ball of wires where everything is connected to everything. So I don't know this for sure, but I would imagine women would take more time doing shadow work when they do it, and do it in completion more, where everything is connected to everything, and tie it up with a neat little bow at the end, and you're gifted with the self-transcendence. But I know guys that can just kind of easily go in and do shadow work. Take one thing, figure out why you're doing it, and then change. Take that action to become the person you want to be, instead of repeating all these old patterns. Right? Because shadow work is taking radical self-responsibility for where you are in life. It is real adulting. Okay, you're going to be immature as long as you are blaming anyone or anything for your situation and where you are. So if you're a miserable person and you're blaming your mother, your father, your partner, your children, society, no matter what it is, for your unhappiness, your emotional state of being, you gotta shift your perspective. Put it all on yourself. Take radical self-responsibility. What did I do to allow this? What did I do? What was my part that I played that got me to this place where I am now? And just take everybody else, everything else out of the equation. Even if it's something horrible, someone used you for 5 years, someone No matter what it is. Why did you let that happen? How are you not listening to your intuition? How are you repeating a frequency, an energetic frequency of this emotion from, where did it come? Ask why. Is this from childhood? Is this from a past life? Is it both? Make these connections. And you're gonna come up with some really, really amazing viewpoints. Because this is how miracles happen. Miracles are shifts in perception. So as long as we keep shifting our perception, we can see more clearly. So the dangers of doing shadow work and why it might not be working for you is because you may just be too downtrodden. You're not strong enough in your own light. So the risk is you're there, you're meditating, you're self-examining, and either you're just gonna kind of ignore and bypass your shadow and access the light and say, yeah, I achieved light, I have inner peace, but really you're actually just numbing yourself out. So if you're strong in the light, you should know the difference between actual inner peace and numbness, and just thinking you're blissed out, because there's a big difference. Numbness is just kind of, it's still, it's like a stagnant light. If you think you're in the light but you're numb, it's like a stagnant light. It's the only way I can describe it. Whereas inner peace is more like energetically, it's like a moving flame of a candle, gently flickering or gently moving. It's a frequency that has a rhythm, and it's okay. It's just okay. You know, this is the inner peace, and everything will be okay, and you know that. So yeah, if you're not in the right place, you could just end up numbing yourself out, thinking that you did the work when you actually didn't do the work. You might have had caught glimpses of your shadow, you might have spent a lot of time examining your shadow, but if you don't do the actual work of integration, and to integrate, you usually have to ask a lot of whys to yourself. Why this, why that, to make sense of it all. And then your subconscious mind can stop obsessing over it and creating these complexes to begin with. And if you did a whole bunch of shadow work just last year or the year before, and you're miserable this year, maybe your shadow work isn't over. It's not like a one-time thing. Maybe you have some other complexes to bring up, some other angles, some other perspectives that still need to be integrated, or some view of a past life that you have yet to access that will help you make sense of it all. And so yeah, I just wanted to say there is a danger to shadow work. You don't want to do it when you're feeling so horrible, because then the risk is the shadow can overtake your light, and then you start thinking that you're nothing but all these faults of yours, and just feel shittier and shittier about yourself until you just go to your same pattern. So that there's one risk there, where you could just end up in shame, which is like the lowest on the ladder. But you know, even if you're at shame, that's where you bounce up from. That's kind of you're going right down there when you're doing shadow work. You're going down, deep down, to come back up so much stronger. And yeah, the other danger is thinking that you did the work when you didn't. It's actual work. So I do recommend shadow work to anybody that wants to transcend themselves. But be aware of what it is and realize it's a process. It may take time, it may take several days, it may take several weeks. Yeah, it might take an hour, but it might take a lot longer than that. And give yourself as much time as you need. If you find the shadow is winning over the light, don't be afraid to reach out to a good friend, someone who loves you, someone who cares about you, so you can get a better reflection of who you really are, and they'll remind you of your light, and that'll help you to keep going. You can do that. You don't have to do it completely alone. You can also get clues from the universe. When you are doing this work, the universe comes out to help you. So pay attention to your intuition, signs, symbols, things that speak to you, people that appear in your life that may be able to help you to see something that you didn't. Entheogens that might just all of a sudden appear after you have done the work. Like that is what recently happened to me. I was doing shadow work, really difficult shadow work for several weeks, and then Amacita muscaria mushroom called out to me, and I'm about to try it. That will be my next video. I'm already in communication with the spirit of this magical mushroom, which I don't recommend anybody try, not just because I can't, because this is YouTube and it's not FDA approved, but because people who do not respect this mushroom, it could kill you. It can make you very, very sick. You need to have a strong respect for the spirit of the plant, and you need to know what you're getting into, and you need to have good motives, because people who just mess around with it usually don't have good stories about it. Yeah, so stay tuned for my next video, and if you didn't use this time with the Mars retrograde and Neptune retrograde, like this whole time was a really good time to do shadow work. If you haven't done it yet, I recommend you do it if you're not feeling that inner peace, you know? Have a good one, everyone, and remember your light. Stay strong.